Hello. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of feelings. Men are probably watching this and going to go, no, but bear with me. Particularly the importance of feelings when it comes to weight loss and weight maintenance. So I'm going to show you a picture now of me on Bank Holiday Monday. I'm looking really fed up. Can you see? My husband took the picture because he found my whole attitude really amusing, which probably didn't help. He was trying to be understanding. I'll tell you a little bit about that. We went on a walk to Dover on Bank Holiday. It didn't start well, really, in hindsight, because I had thought that we weren't going for a walk and had made plans to get out into the garden, which I'm a gardening fanatic, and had decided what I was going to do. And then hubby comes upstairs just as I'm getting myself all dolled up for the garden and goes, decided we're going to go to Dover. To be fair to him, he had said to me, I had said to him rather, that I was going to go out into the garden until he'd figured out what to do. And I just took too long faffing around, and then he made up his mind. And so I had already committed to going. Therein lies the problem. So it didn't start off well, really. I wasn't in the mood for it. I wanted to go in the garden. I'd had a really busy weekend and week before dealing with lots of other people's needs. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to go into the garden. And what I should have done at that point is said, this is what I want to do. I don't want to go for a walk, actually. But because I'd previously said I quite fancied a walk over the bank holiday, and because he loves walking, I didn't want to let him down, and I felt guilty about that. But so I did. So I went. It just went from bad to worse, really. That we got to Cardiff and it was pouring with rain. It was cold. It was windy. My hair looked like this the entire walk. So even though there were glorious views of the Seven Sisters, I couldn't see a bleeding thing, and all of the soil kept blowing up into my face and getting into my eyes. I just got more and more grumpy as we walked. We even ended up in a coffee shop halfway round, and I was thinking, okay, great, I can have a nice coffee, and I got really annoyed because they didn't do proper coffee, which I call. They just did a cafetiere, and it was just, I was just so grumpy and miserable. And because I didn't express how I was feeling right from the word go, which is what I should have done, I just brooded, and I got more and more resentful. The competent walkers who were bypassing us, skipping past us, were irritating the hell out of me. My husband was irritating me, poor man. I was just fed up with the whole world and feeling very stressed and annoyed and angry and a little bit tearful, actually, over a freaking walk, which should have been really enjoyable. So at one point, as we were getting towards the end and it had got really blowy and the rain had started coming down, and hubby turned to me and said, right back there, as I was falling behind a little bit, and I just had a major outburst and said, no, I'm not okay, actually, I'm hating this whole thing, and then went and just lashed out at him, not physically, verbally, poor man. And, we know each other well enough now that he just kind of ignored me, gave me a little bit of a pat and said, nearly there, come on, keep going. And it was all fine. But I sat the whole way home getting quieter and quieter as I brooded and brooded. And it just got me thinking about the importance of feelings in weight loss, because in my pocket of my coat I had a little bar, a Trek bar, which I just had, for some reason it was in there, and the entire way round I kept feeling this Trek bar in my pocket, and as I got more and more irritated and annoyed, I started breaking off little bits of it and munching it as I went round. I wasn't hungry at all. I didn't want it. We'd had a good breakfast, a good lunch. I didn't want it, but because I was starting to feel really uncomfortable with the way I was feeling, I was using that it's like a sweet flapjack. I was using that to help myself deal with the difficult emotions. And I've learnt, I was annoyed with myself afterwards, because I've learnt that any feelings of discomfort that I feel inside of me is like my wise inner voice trying to tell me something, and I should stop and listen to it and not drown it out with the nice food or the booze or other sort of distractions that come along. Keeping busy is a really big one for me. I keep myself very, very busy so I don't have to think about those difficult feelings, when actually what I really must try to do more is to listen, sit and listen. And that feels really uncomfortable, doesn't it? You don't want to sit and listen to that. You just want to distract yourself and move on and get through it as quickly as you possibly can. And that's all fine and dandy, but it has a negative impact, doesn't it? It had, the whole of my day really was ruined by that whole mood I was in, and I was cross with myself for eating something I really didn't want to eat. So actually what I needed to do was stop, listen, and think right from the word go. In that morning, instead of bottling it all up, I should have just said how I was feeling, and then we could have made a plan. Maybe we could have done a more local walk, and then I could have still got my gardening in. We could have come to some sort of compromise, I'm sure, where both of us could have been happy. And if there are situations in your life, if you're thinking, well, that's all fine, Sonia, but I've got something really, really big in my life causing big discomfort and very horrible feelings, and there is truly nothing that you can do about that situation, well, we can still develop strategies for dealing with the stress or whatever's going on, can't we? We can still learn how to find time just to be quiet, time for ourselves to recharge our batteries, find people to talk to help us to manage the way we're feeling. I use yoga and try to find time to do a bit of meditation every now and again, just to be still and recharge myself, really, when I've got lots of stuff that are really out of my control going on. So my message is, don't drown those feelings out with your food or whatever. Just learn somehow to sit with them, see what your body is, your brain is trying to tell you about how you're feeling, because it's desperately trying to tell you something, and then make some sort of plan of action for dealing with either the situation or the how you're going to manage the stress of an uncontrollable situation.